It is 2 a.m. in Caracas. The city is sleeping. Then the silence is broken. Not by one impact, but by seven. Reports are confirming right now that distinct, loud blasts have echoed across the Venezuelan capital. This was not a weather event. This was not a standard equipment failure. Residents in the southern districts are describing the sound of low-altitude aircraft moving fast overhead, something that should not be possible in such a heavily monitored airspace unless the situation has drastically changed. Within minutes of these sounds, columns of smoke were spotted rising into the night sky, and the electricity grid in key sectors completely shut down. If you have been following the news for the last month, you know exactly why this moment matters. We have moved past the phase of warnings. Something major is shifting in South America right now, and the details suggest this is not an accidental event. Let's look at the verified timeline of what we know. At roughly 6 a.m. GMT, the first reports hit the wires. 7 blasts, multiple eyewitnesses, immediate blackouts in the southern zones of the city. Why is the southern zone important? That is where key infrastructure is located. When you see a pattern like this, aircraft sound, followed by precise impacts, followed by a grid shutdown, analysts immediately look for a strategic operation designed to disrupt communications and visibility. The aircraft reported were flying extremely low. For a plane to fly that low over a capital city, the local defense systems are either inactive or they have been bypassed. That specific detail changes the entire narrative. It suggests a high level of sophistication. This wasn't a random incident. It appears to be a calculated move. To understand the who and the why, we have to look at the last 3 weeks of diplomatic tension. The pressure on the current administration in Caracas has been higher than ever. There have been direct statements from leadership in the United States regarding potential land operations to force a political transition. Until tonight, those were just words. But history tells us that rhetoric often turns into action when the world isn't looking. The current leadership in Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, has already released a statement. He is pointing the finger directly at the United States and foreign actors. He claims this is the start of the intervention that was threatened. Whether that is true or whether this is an internal power struggle, the result is the same. The status quo has been broken. There is another piece of this puzzle that many reports are missing. Look at the ocean. Over the last month, we have seen over 24 incidents involving vessels in the Caribbean Sea and the Pacific. Officially, these are labeled as counter-illicit trade operations, stopping prohibited cargo. But look closer. When you have that much naval activity, over 20 distinct intercepts, you are doing more than stopping cargo. You are securing a perimeter. You are establishing control of the waters. If you connect those naval operations with tonight's air activity over the capital, a picture forms. It looks like a coordinated pressure campaign on multiple fronts. Why should you care if you don't live in the region? Because instability here impacts everything. We are talking about energy markets, migration patterns, and global alliances. If this escalates into a prolonged conflict, or if there is a sudden change in government, the shockwaves will hit the global economy immediately. We are watching a region that holds massive energy reserves, potentially going offline or changing hands. The next 12 hours are critical. We need to see if the power comes back on or if ground movements begin. I will be monitoring the flight radar and official channels throughout the day as the sun rises in Caracas. If there are updates on ground movements, I will provide them immediately. Make sure you are following so you don't miss the update. Do you think this is a foreign intervention or something happening from the inside? Let's discuss it in the comments.